I'm mentally ill.
Matt, not disagree.
No, I don't think anybody here disagrees. Matcha and cheese.
Good stuff.
Good stuff. A spotlight for me?
Yes.
Really? Vanity by Christina Aguilera starts playing.
Oh.
Extra 500k for every burp.
You have to start charging for that.
Was good job.
Welcome back to Indah.
Would you kill me? Was good job. Welcome to the very first video of Summertime Love. And y'all know who this is. It's your boy Matthew Samudro. And over here you got it's your girl Indah G in the house. Let's get into it.
Hey, so today we're gonna be giving our thoughts and reactions to unpopular dating opinions.
Ooh. My God, we were just
talking about this.
And we were just talking about this. No, so I agree with that. As much as possible, or at least like the default, in my opinion, you should split the cost 50-50.
Yeah, I think you can split it 50-50, but it's always a nice gesture for the guy to offer to pay. It's pretty modern, like we're in modern times where both parties are pretty okay with splitting 50-50. I just think that it would be nice for the guy.
I mean, I'm trying to be careful to not derail over here, but it's just, I hate the guys that, imagine your masculinity being so fragile that you get offended when she offers to pay for you.
Oh yeah, that one I can't.
No,
that one is a no-no.
Miss me with that shit. But no, more so like where I'm coming with this is that, well, you know, we should split because it's one of those things where it reinforces that you guys are not exactly dependent on each other. So I mean, for the longest time in modern history, it's always been that women, in many ways, financially, socially, like in every single way, women have always been dependent on the men to provide for everything, basically, right? You could swing it either way, like having the guy dependent on the girl or having the girl dependent on the guy, and it's not a good combination. Like, you shouldn't be in a relationship with a certain person because you guys are dependent on each other. I mean, again, maybe that, you know, that's an unpopular opinion, but I don't think the point is that you guys are together because you guys need each other, because you guys depend on each other, but it's because you guys want to be together, and despite every resource and ability to be on your own and provide on your own, you still choosing to be with that other person. So that's kind of where I'm coming with this, and also just because it's fair, right? Like, you shouldn't, like, me as a woman, I shouldn't be looking at my man like he's a fucking bank, or like he my sugar daddy, and like, you know, you as a man too, like, you know, don't be looking at me like I'm your piggy bank, you're a fucking charity case and I'm just gonna drop money on you all the fucking time.
Yeah.
Like, it's just more equal that way.
Yeah, I agree.
We were talking about this because you were saying like, nah, as the man, that you want to pay.
Oh, I want to pay for it because it's the first date, and it's like a nice gentleman gesture to pay for first date. It's more like chivalrous, you know. But I think it's just more of a nice thing to see the girl being like, oh yeah, I'm down to pay. But I would say no, it's okay. I think for the first date, it is important for the guy to pay. I would say that.
On the one hand, I'm so conflicted with this because on the one hand too, like the whole thing about being chivalrous and like, you know, being kind of like giving and being generous.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I mean, I guess for the longest time, society has always placed it as the responsibility of a man.
Right.
But that's just something that, to me, and maybe it has something in part to do with the fact that I grew up with a single mom. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah.
But I always just, being chivalrous has never really been something associated with being a man. And so I got that in me to want to also be chivalrous towards the man. And so on the one hand, I wouldn't mind like if it's the very, very first date and I'm like, probably I gotta be like head over heels for this guy. It's like, I'm trying to marry this man and bring him home to my mama. Like, I feel like I wouldn't mind paying for the first date, but at the same time, I'm also like, nah, we should split on the first date, because logically speaking, I think that makes more sense. You know why? It's because this is the very first date. We don't know how this is gonna go.
Right.
We don't know where this is gonna go, and I don't want for me to leave that date feeling like I owe him something, and vice versa. I don't want him to feel like he owes me something.
That makes perfect sense.
Oh no, I'm not like that. If anything, this might look bad on me. I have commitment issues. It's oh, hi kitty. I'm sorry, I get distracted a lot. If anything, it's hard for me to get myself to commit and be exclusive with just one person. So
Especially after just the first date.
Oh my god, especially at the first date. Like, I don't understand. No. I don't understand the people that after the first or second date, you're immediately like, yes, you're my person. I want to be just exclusive with you. Like, how do you know after the first or second date? Like, what if they're an axe murderer?
Accurate.
You don't really know anything about the other person, like, just after the first or second date. I feel like you should give it, I don't know, maybe this is a little bit too extreme, but like give it like 5 months, 6 months.
Oh hell no, I wouldn't impose that on them. I mean, I think if you do both get along really well from the first date, I think by default the person would just be more looking forward to seeing each other. Maybe it's like if the first date goes well, and then the both of them are like, okay, well, we have something good going on here. I'm looking forward to the next date. And then other people who are just kind of they're talking to, maybe just get pushed out. Because you're just busy talking to this one person. But then if the date doesn't go well, how can you expect, after this one date, this person has to only be mine? Then what's the difference of a date and a relationship?
Exactly. I feel like when it comes to getting into a relationship, like you can't jump into it too quick.
Yes, don't jump into a relationship too. No, I mean you've met someone who after their first, was it the first time meeting you? It was like, meet my parents.
Last year I went on a date with this guy. First date, and this man was already like, so when am I gonna meet your mama? And then he was talking about like, I would love for you to meet my parents, and like, I have this thing next week, like you should come meet my friends, like, everybody's gonna be there, like I want them to meet you. And I'm like literally sitting there at the dining table having a mini shit attack inside my head, because I'm just like, sir, this is the first date. I got friends and we've known each other for like 4 years, 5 years, and they've never even met my mom, and you want to meet my mom after the first date? And I'm just like, what the hell is this? And then eventually I learned like that is an actual cultural thing here in Indonesia, where it's like, some people it's even to the point where it's like you can't go on a date unless your parents agree to it first.
Yeah, that's wild.
So like here, the culture here in Indonesia especially is that when it comes to dating and marriage, like so much of it needs to involve parents and family, which is so different. I feel like you and me were more acclimatized to American dating culture, romance culture, whatever you want to call it. And so it's such a stark difference. And coming back here, that was a big culture shock to me even.
Because like in the States, it's not even that it's frowned upon. Like in the States, if you tell someone like, I want to meet your parents immediately after the first few times being with each other, or
they
even like
run away.
Yeah, exactly. People would run away. They'd be like, that's clingy behavior, right? If you end up, let's say, it happens all the time. It's like either guys or girls, you're in bed together, and then they're like, the person's talking about the future, but you guys aren't even in a relationship. You guys are just, casually seeing each other. Immediately in the States, it's like, this person caught feels, get away.
No, because the thing in the US is that hookup culture is very prominent and it's very much normalized, right? I'm not saying like it's good or it's bad or whatever, but I'm just stating the facts here
normalized.
that like, hookup culture in the US is normalized too. And then over here, when you think about it, not to say that hookup culture doesn't exist here, it very much exists here. Indonesians are freaky and they nasty, but just people here are more jaim about it. But anyways, that's a different topic. But hookup culture does exist here, but it exists on the down low. And so on the more like surface level, like traditionally and culturally, it's not something, first of all, it's not something that really is considered to exist. And then the other thing too is that it's very much frowned upon. Over here, everything like when dating and marriage, like when you date, when you go on that first date with that one person, the agenda is to see if this is going to be the person that you marry. So here in Indonesia and like a lot of parts in Asia, technically, when you think about it, there doesn't exist this concept of dating just to date. It's like just for the heck of it. They're like, no, over here it's like if you go on a date with a person, it's literally like, can I build a family with you? Can I have kids with you?
Or maybe that's why a lot of people here says, you gotta be temenan dulu, like you gotta be friends first.
I guess so, yeah. I mean,
right?
And that too. Like, I feel like over here, using dating apps to, we're so derailing from your question. I am so sorry. I feel like over here too, the whole idea of meeting your soulmate, meeting your partner through dating apps, or like you pick them up at the club, you pick them up at a bar or whatever. I feel like over here, I wouldn't go so far as to say it's taboo or looked down upon. I'm not sure, but it's definitely not something you hear very commonly.
Yeah.
Over here, the way that people go about finding their partners is, through church, or like your parents set you up. Like that's a very common thing here still. Like your parents are gonna set you up with like the neighbor's son or daughter, or this girl or this guy from church or from the mosque, or you meet them at school or like at work.
Do people meet each other at the mosque? Is that a thing?
Falling out of love.
Totally a real thing.
It's a real thing. No, it's a real thing. Like I'm sorry, but the whole idea of monogamy, like, at some point in my life, I believed in this thing called monogamy, but I feel like that's because we've been sold on the idea for so long. But like, when you think about it, if monogamy is a real thing, then why do divorce happen at such a high rate? And then people do fall out of love because, I'm sorry, but at some point, if I'm just stuck with this one person for like, 15, 30 years, like just this one same person, I go everywhere with this one person, I do everything with this one person, eventually I'm gonna get sick and tired of the bitch.
I feel like it's such a, for me at least, that idea is a conflicting idea. For some reason, I understand that idea that you can fall out of love outside of marriage, but for some reason, because I think same thing with what you said, is like a thought that has been just ingrained in me so long that in a marriage, like I find it like I don't want to believe that you can fall out of love within a marriage, which logically it doesn't make sense, right? If in a relationship you could do it, in a marriage you can too. It's just that one is legally binding and that's about it.
Yeah.
But for me, it's like, it's not logical, I get it, it's irrational, but I would like to believe falling out of love only exists before marriage.
But but it comes back down to how, you would like to believe that falling out of love isn't a thing, but no, it is, and it's been proven time and time again. That's why divorce happens at such a high rate, and that's why, like, even like outside of marriage, like, you're dating someone, and then just eventually, like, one day, it's like, that's why, it happens all the time. Like, you're in a relationship with somebody else, but you're, looking at someone else. It's literally that song by Doja Cat, You Right. I got a man, but I want you. I got a man, but I want you, and it's just love. It's just dick.
Concepts like you don't fall in love, but you love someone more.
You love someone more.
Oh man, that's all so painful.
You love someone more. You know what? No, this is a definitely controversial opinion, but you can love two people. Non-platonic love, by the way, as in like a romantic, sexual love. You can love multiple people at once. You can.
So for me, ENFPs are hopeless romantics. So for me, I really believe in that, like, one love.
I'm an ENFJ, so I'm really not much different. But this is what I wanted to say. I don't think you're meant to just be with one person for the rest of your life, and that's okay. And the other thing too is that not all love needs to last forever for it to serve its purpose. Religiously, I am agnostic, not atheistic, okay? And if you don't understand the difference, go look it up. I very much believe in the universe, and I believe that the universe always has a plan. Different people come into your life at different times, and it's meant to be that way. They're meant to come into your life during those specific times to teach you a specific lesson.
You're a crystal girl?
Yeah, no, I'm not one of those girls, but crystals are cute though. What do you think?
Crystal girls. About crystal girls?
No, about
I feel it when, like, for example, when I'm in the States, when I'm in Singapore, when I'm in Jakarta, my interests were very different.
Yeah.
And it was very dependent on where I was at that time, right? So I understand that, like, the people I date, they're not really similar. It really depends on the state of my life, what's the environment like.
Of course.
Right? And so that's why that statement rings true to me when you say, like,
not all love is meant to last forever for it to serve its purpose.
Yes.
Yeah.
For it to serve its purpose, because after a certain while, when you do end up moving to a different stage of your life, for some reason you just, like, either lose interest or something happens. As much as that's true, I'd still rather believe that I can one day find the person that will go through the many different stages of my life together. But then again, like, that person is pretty much rare, right?
I think it does happen with a lot of people. Like, time and time again, like, I know our parents, our grandparents, or like other adult figures in our lives, like that we've seen or maybe heard of, like, time and time again, it's been proven by a lot of people. Keep an open mind that, yeah, sure, it can happen. It could, but if it doesn't, it's okay. People would just drop in with the whole, like, oh, they got divorced. Like, bitch, so what? Like, a divorce is basically a breakup but legal. Like, See the categories. Anyways, no, the other thing that I wanted to say was, honestly, you have to keep in mind too that like for so much of human civilization, like if we're looking back in history,
Right.
the reason why I guess. You've definitely heard the argument that these days people they're not loyal, right? People
Yeah, I've heard
can't
that.
stick with each other and be loyal to each other the way that people back then, our grandparents or our great grandparents and their great grandparents have been able to do. When you think about it, it's because obviously times have changed. Back then, the times back then, the environment was conducive for people to stick together for the rest of their lives. Now with globalization and industrialization coming into play, and people are going out to get their masters, move into different cities for to pursue this career ambition, and just like now we got so much more options, but also so much more responsibilities and obligations when you think about it. And so just it's a matter of now we're just living in a different time.
Yeah.
When people are comparing the way we are today compared to how our ancestors were, back in the earlier years, it's one of those things where I'm just like, you're comparing apples to oranges. We're in a completely different time, completely different environments, and there are different factors that are coming into play
Yeah.
that didn't exist back then. Oh, you're asking that to the wrong people. Because,
Wait, they continue though. Someone always catches feelings and it never ends well.
oh my God, we were just talking about this.
Catching feelings,
We were just talking about this. No, because okay, obviously it's not I don't keep it a secret. If y'all subscribe to me or y'all follow me on social media, y'all will know this. I'm a hoe. I hoe around a lot, right? Nothing bad about that. So, my friends always ask me, Indah, you sleep around with all of these men so much so often. Like, do you never catch feelings? And the truth is that sometimes, if I'm not careful, I do.
You do.
And you were asking me, like, so what happens, like, when you get into that situation when you catch yourself catching feelings for this guy? And legit, the only thing that I can do is just have enough willpower to tell myself no. Like, legit, like, no. Like, if I catch myself daydreaming about this guy and, like, imagining a future, like, or like, all these romantic scenes in my head. Because the truth is that as much as I jump around from different guys because I am problematic and toxic and I have commitment issues and I have 6 brain cells. As much as I do that very often, to be honest, I'm also a hopeless romantic, and I hate that about myself. And I fall in love very, very easily. And every time it happens to me, like I catch feelings for a guy, like I just gotta legit tell myself no. Like it's bring the logic in, like it's not gonna happen, and I have to have enough self-discipline to tell myself and the guy that, like, hey, this is strictly professional. for context, I'm single, clearly, and then he's in a relationship. So obviously, I guess, and with that too, like if you were single, you might be giving different answers compared to now that you're in a relationship.
Yeah, but I have a lot of friends who they do partake in the hookup culture and things like that, and I could see for them, like it's okay, what part of it is wasting time though? Because I think for those people, like you do get a lot of experience, you meet new people, you get to be really intimate with a lot of different people. Everyone wants different things, right?
Yeah.
I feel like you could have so many different ways of looking at this, but I don't think it's quote unquote like waste of time is if you know what you're getting yourself into. Yeah,
exactly. It's a thing here in Indonesia, like some people they get married to their first boyfriend.
right
And it's one of those things where I'm like, it's just because we have different ways of perceiving it, right? Because to them, it's like, again, like, what is your intention of going into dating, into going into, like, going on a date with someone? Like, what is your attention? What is your agenda? Because people have different agendas, right? Because I think the people that would see hookup culture and, like, short-term casual dating as, like, a waste of time is because they're coming in with the agenda of, again, like what I said, I'm here to find a husband. I'm here to find a wife. I'm here to, build a family. And then for them, of course, for those types of people, yeah, it is a waste of time. But then not everybody has that kind of an agenda. Like some people, you're here for a good time, not a long time. Case in point. So it's to each their own. Once upon a time, many moons ago, I once believed in this thing called monogamy because I was in a relationship with the same guy for 3 years. Back in high school. Yeah, girl, 3 years. She's like, this bitch?
Yeah.
Me. And I thought that this was the man I mean, because also I was head over heels in love with this man, and also because we dated for so long. Obviously, then the thought of like potentially getting married and having kids was, becoming a possibility. And he was my first serious relationship. And at that time, when you're in the moment of it, you think that, of course, like you think that this is it.
Yeah.
Like, it can't get any better than this, but you think that because you just don't know. You don't know, like.
You don't know what you don't know.
Yeah, you don't know what you don't know. You don't know what the other options are. And to be honest, like, I'm definitely very glad that, all things considered, I'm very glad I got out of that relationship.
How do I say it? Like, you don't wanna...
Udah sia-sia.
Yeah, kayak sia-sia 5 tahun.
Nuh-uh. That is legit the root of why so many, I'm sorry, but that's the root of why so many marriages today, they're not as, it's not as sincere, it's not as genuine. I thought, because you gotta realize a lot of our parents, a lot of our, aunts or uncles, or just like, adults that we know, like, they're not sticking together because they want to be together. They stick together because they feel obligated. And that's the thing that you're saying. No, if you feel like you're in any way obligated to stay in a relationship, it's a requirement, or like, again, obligation, red flag.
I think, I've heard of it from a lot of my friends saying that, and I would say like 5 years. It's better to throw away 5 years than throw away like 20 years, right?
Yes.
20, 30 years of your life in the future.
Yes.
Hopefully you don't find out that late.
You guys are sticking together, but at what cost? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it looks good in the public eye because it's like, oh, these guys have been together forever. They're loyal. Like, this is their first marriage. They've never gotten divorced. It looks good in the public eye, but it's like, behind closed doors. Are you guys happy? No, you're not. Y'all probably sleep on different beds. Y'all probably haven't touched each other since 20 years ago or some shit. I don't know. Again, you're talking to the wrong people.
You know what's crazy? I believe that if I could have it my way, I would wait.
Oh!
Because it's a great thing. Like, the only there's so many things I could say about that. But I was just thinking, like, first of all, yes, you wouldn't know what to do. I would say, because there's no formal training.
And porn can only teach you so much.
Exactly. But imagine how good the feeling is.
The first time.
The first time with someone you end up being with your whole life, and then you get that, because I feel like a lot of the thing about like sleeping, it's not even because of like just like sexual pleasure, but it's also like intimacy, right? And the only argument is if that person's whack in bed, then it's just gonna suck forever, but you wouldn't know also. But if it's great, if you guys are both like, you have that chemistry and everything is great, like that intimacy is gonna take you a long time, I think.
It is true what they say, that sex with the person that you're emotionally and romantically connected with, it feels so much better.
Right.
It feels so much better. And actually, this may be a little bit off topic, but I watched this one video where this girl, she was explaining basically like every single man that she has slept with has given her an orgasm, and she conducted her research. She thinks that she's found out what it is. All of the men that she has slept with, they've all been in long-term committed relationships before. And so do you see where this is going? Because they've been in long-term committed relationships before. They've been with that one person like for a long time, and like, so these men, like, they've had the time to really learn from their female partner, like, what is pleasurable for a woman, like how to satisfy a woman. And so like they've got that under their belts, compared to men. And like, no, this one I can attest to, compared to the men that like they're, they hoe around, like they've never been in a committed relationship and they just sleep around. And so they've never had the time, and like they've never had the long-term exposure to a woman to teach them how to, rock the boat in bed.
Right, that makes so much sense.
That was the thing that, I wanted to say. The other thing that I wanted to say was I can't. If I have to get married to a man, and this is the man that I gotta spend the rest of my life with, this is the only man that I get to have sex with for the rest of my life, and then I marry him, and then on our honeymoon it turns out that he is shit in bed, I will get a divorce the very fucking next day, because I can't settle for bad dick for the rest of my fucking life. But that's me. Because como se dice, I'm a whore. But it's not for everybody, but just if good dick matters to you, if good pussy matters to you, it goes both ways. Like, just you should definitely probably test out the car before you buy it. Not me out here objectifying humans but anyways. Am I gonna get canceled for this?
Only by the priests.
Thank God. Like if you were my boyfriend, like hypothetically, like if you were my boyfriend, and if I text you and you don't reply to me within 5 minutes, I'm gonna be out here thinking that you out there cheating on me with some other bitch.
Me, that I'd be like, whoa, that's a lot. And then this guy says to the girl, say that you want me to impregnate you. I saw